My name is Anton. I joined Wrike as a SysOps engineer in St. Pete office, and since then I relocated to Prague. I've been working here for 3 years in Prague as a team leader, and recently I became a head of SysOps. The department's goal is to run Wrike infrastructure and help other teams like DevOps engineering to meet operational requirements, and also we do our part in architecture of Wrike. SysOps engineers are individuals that can help any other department that we're working with to build their applications in accordance with operational requirements. And we are looking for people who want to drive changes and who have some vision how the ideal infrastructure could look like. So Wrike is SaaS cloud platform. It's now hosted in 3 production data centers. We have thousands of assets, of VMs. We have hundreds of services written in different languages. It's basically web SaaS platform. For SysOps engineers, we basically looking for basics in Linux and web application load balancing because it's what we have. We are less strict in other technology because everybody has different experience, but everything is usually based on that. If you're good at Linux, if you have some experience running preferably SaaS cloud infrastructure, you might be a good fit. I've been working for 6th year. Company-wise, we start having a lot more customers and we start having a lot more important customers. From operation perspective, we have much improved visibility of our infrastructure. We are continuously working on the uptime. We continuously improving architecture of Wrike to support our growth. I think increased our portfolio of services, right? So that's one of the challenges we have. So we have more services we need to manage. So we start thinking about complexity, and we want to start managing complexity. So we start having service mesh in production. We introduced relatively complex routing for our product. We start having CDC. It's data streaming from PostgreSQL databases to Kafka. Right, we start having data center and cloud. We reworked many parts of infrastructure, so I would say that it's hard to mention what hasn't changed the last 3 years. I think that our culture, based on our newcomers' feedback, is friendliness. It's a helpful environment, and simultaneously is an environment where people own their scope. So it's the combination of things like friendliness with ownership that can actually move the world. I do like the people we have. I like the honesty of team members because that can shorten the feedback loop, help you understand how can you do better in every aspect of your work. I appreciate honesty and willingness to provide feedback right quickly. We now have about 20 SysOps engineers divided into 3 groups. Each group has a team leader. And some teams are very distributed across the globe. One team is mostly in Prague. So if team can benefit of having same workplace is good. But we started having distributed teams even before COVID. So when Wrike offered opportunity to start having R&D in Prague, SysOps was one of the departments that basically used that, and we started working remotely. And actually, even before Prague, I would say in SysOps it was normal to work a couple of days per week if you need from home. So I would say the key points of collaboration inside the team is having a way to communicate with the people. So we are removing bottlenecks in communication. So what does it mean? Everybody needs to understand that they need to be flexible and be ready to help somebody else, not waiting a week for next planning event. So basically, Basically, the idea is that if you need something from person, we reaching them in Slack and starting a Zoom like the same day or day after. It's pretty far from that. So there are many drivers of changes, and you need to run very fast to even be on the same place. One thing to consider is development life cycle of every software we use. So everything is constantly being in development. So you need to catch up with LTS window for entire platform stack, and only this thing requires a lot of effort. Another thing, if you think that everything is fixed, I think that you're basically in trouble, right? Because you don't know your real state, right? So it's like, consider you don't have bugs in your product, right? We never had any ideas, like any assumptions that we're close to closing the majority of backlog or something. So usually when we do quarterly planning, we have 10 more ideas than we can fit into the quarter. So, and many of them are actually great ideas. We had just to prioritize it in different ways. It depends on your, I would say, maturity of your approach towards operations. So if you're young enough, you can have, I would say, half, like 50% of incidents coming from your activities, like your team that runs the infrastructure. In our case, I think we have more incidents introduced by some changes from the code side, but that's not a problem. We have a simple way to roll back everything. So I would say the key points for to have ability to perform changes from code side, you need just to have backward compatibility, both like front end and back end, and you need to have stable and quick deploy pipeline, so you can roll back everything as soon as you have an assumption something went wrong. I would say that people who joined us last couple of years, they say that we're in good spot, I would say. Regarding challenges, I would say the challenge is that, let's say, deploy pipeline. The challenge we now have that what's the deployment? It's from staging to production, basically, and we don't have the staging for deploy itself, right? So you need to copy it somewhere. So some parts are currently hard to be tested. Yeah, but we tracking the success rate of deploy jobs, let's say, trying to make this process as stable as it's reasonable. Regarding the tools and infrastructure, so we have in-house written deploy tools. They are mainly written by DevOps team. With them we work maybe the most. The idea of internally written tools are to basically meet the security requirements, so to have ability to introduce some changes that we need in our scenarios. Not much tools on the market can actually fit. Yes, we do have two cloud providers. One of it is Amazon Cloud. We started having it 6 years ago when we introduced our storage solution around S3 and Elastic Transcoder. And the main cloud is GCP. In GCP, we have one of the Wrike installations, but we also have the disaster recovery environments. We have R&D with dynamic load, we have analytics. So in GCP we have dozens of projects, and very different services are used, including BigQuery. First of all, as I maybe mentioned, we cannot manage infrastructure individually. At our scale, we need to think about how to manage things en masse. We have a couple of relatively similar environments, and we have some areas of improvements there, so like we know that we can come up with solution to have immutable infrastructure in the future. The challenges we had recently is service mesh implementation. It was a long-lasting project involving different departments: SysOps, DevOps, security, and engineering. It was introducing a new technology stack into our Kubernetes and Istio installations. It was mainly a challenge because it was a cross-team project. Third to name, data streaming, it's a CDC project. We introduced Kafka platform, which started to be used not only by CDC but by product. So product, when we start having Kafka, start using it as a message broker in different scenarios. And another challenge, I would say, the complexity, right? So we cannot just introduce more and more services. We need to carefully understand what's the cost of ownership for any of them. In DevOps team, there are two subgroups. So one of them, Python developers, mainly writing internal tools, supporting our testing dynamic environments, and writing deployment tools. And second group is more or less infrastructure engineers, as we are in SysOps. So they do support the environments for their tools, and they also helping in staging environments. The DevOps team are mainly responsible for internal CI/CD tooling, and SysOps are mainly responsible for operating Wrike in all environments. So everything that's related to having Wrike running in any environment is SysOps scope. We basically have two steps in our department. First one is technical interview, on which our goal is to be on the same page with candidates on the technology stack and their expectations and our expectations. So speaking about technology, we are interested in basic Linux knowledge. We expect relatively deep understanding of internals. We ask questions about HTTP load balancing and some basic Linux stuff. We basically have a conversation going through experience of candidates. So we ask where the candidate feels most strong. We don't have some scripted questions on this step, like how to do things there and here. And second step is cultural fit. It's a more relaxed conversation. The goal is to make sure we share the same values with candidates, and our company will be the best place for them to thrive. The great product we have, we build and we run. I would say the second thing is the people we have in both our team and the company, and the friendliness we have working in agile mode. So that means that you have everyday deploys of many services, you have quick iterations, you have quick feedback loops, and we work in close collaboration with many departments without added bureaucracy, and we have relatively flat structure for that.